Hey, I'm Liz Morrison. I was one of the original teachers who wrote the government EOC test questions many years ago. And since that time, I've done a lot of work on how you can take common assessments like you guys have and then changing practice to have kids do better on end of course exams, life, the ACT, whatever it might be. So anyway, you guys, I took a look at the first test. I used the Introduction to the United States Constitution. I believe that is the first DCA that you have coming up. And what I did was I went through your test. I did an item analysis using the CLEs, which is at the bottom of the test link that you're going to receive. And then I read through each of your test questions and I labeled them off to the side with the CLE. What I noticed at first is that the test questions that have the document attached or the excerpt from the document are very much aligned to a DOK of at least a 2 and very much aligned to what the kids are going to see on the end of course exam. The one thing I would recommend is to get rid of your true-false test questions. True-false test questions, they're not going to see anything like that on the EOC. They just don't have them on there, nor will they see it on the ACT. And as you know, all of our juniors are going to be take the ACT. So anything we can do to make our tests replicate what those tests look like is going to help kids. So I would recommend getting rid of not the multiple choice. Keep your multiple choice. Get rid of your true-false. And the matching as well, you guys are just not going to see that on the EOC. So we want our tests to look like those tests. So what I did on the one that I sent back to y'all was I turned these into multiple choice test questions versus being a matching part. And like I said, I would recommend if there's anything on here that you think is incredibly important that you want to keep, I turn it into multiple choice test or just go ahead and delete all of those. With that said, I charted out your using the grade level expectations, and you're going to see how I did it. I used the number I don't know if you guys can see this, like the 2, I know you're familiar with this, but the 2, and then the C, and then the A, and then the 2, and that's how I coded them. But on the item analysis, I actually pulled the verbiage from the actual CLEs. That'll make it a lot more helpful. All right, so that's not the most important part, you guys. It's what we do with the test after we give the test. It's going to make a difference for kids. So I'm hoping this is going to work. I made for you a student reflection learned or haven't learned yet sheet that the kids use during the test and then after the test. So hopefully you guys are going to be able to see this. Here we go. I'm flipping my camera around. I'm not sure. Do you see it? I hope so. So during the test, the kids will actually decide if they knew it, not sure, or guessed as they're taking the test. Now, the MO CLE, if you guys can see where that spot goes, you're going to fill that in ahead of time. If you're using this test with the ones that I marked on there, you'll know which CLE it is. It should be super simple. I didn't make one for you for this one because if you're going to, depending on what you guys decide you want to do with those multiple choice test questions. Then they do that during the test. So after the test, they turn this in with the test. After the test, you give it back with their test. Then the kids, as they go through the answers, will decide I was right, I was wrong, it was a simple mistake, I misread the question, I need to learn or restudy. And you guys, this helps the kids own it, but also it's a great guide for you to use to figure out what you need to do for reteaching. Now, the way you have this set up with the CLEs that you utilized on this particular test, I would recommend for the reteaching to do stations. And you guys, you're gonna have to plan for a day of reteaching. It's almost like if you can do it the day, I'm not sure if you guys are in a 45-minute class period or if you're in a 90-minute block. The tricky part is reviewing for the test. There's some kids who haven't taken the test yet, so you might want to wait one more day to help kind of bring in those kids who haven't taken the test, and they'll get to be a part of the review. So it's kind of awkward because you're starting a new unit, but you're going to come back to this one, but the long-term benefits are huge. So if you're going to reteach this, what I would recommend is stations, and with the stations, so you can take your CLE, for example, the one that might be about the enlightened thinkers. So let's say that you had 5 test questions and some kids just didn't get any of those. So you want those kids to start off the enlightened thinkers module. If you can make these modules where the kids have something to do there, and you can walk around and monitor, that's the way to go. I'm not sure how many government teachers are on your team, but what would be even more brilliant is if each one of you took one of the stations to create, so you had those review stations for everyone. Now, with the kids who did great on this test, you could actually assign them to be like the mentor at the station, so they can help the other students learn this material as well. So reteach the material. Then you guys, you're going to have some kind of assessment at the end of the reteaching to make sure the kids actually got the information or learned it better than they had before. And so some sort of simple exit slip might be good to look at to see, hey, are they really getting this or not? You could even make a quick multiple choice, Google test that they could just turn it through Google Classroom. Let me think what else. So another thing that's really awesome about this, so now you have these stations created for the review for this. You'll also have them created then prior to the end of course exam. You guys might want to decide you want to bring these stations back out to refresh the kids' memory on all the things they learned earlier in the semester. So this is your test on Introduction to the United States Constitution. I hope you found this helpful, and I'm really excited. I'm really excited to find out how your kids do with if you use the student reflection and then have the kids do the stations. So that's all I have. Have a really great week. Thanks.